I want to take a little time today to talk about the recent murder at the STEM school in Colorado. Now, I don't want to take a moment here to focus on the tragedy and be miserable. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do today. I want to talk about some positive things. Even the darkest clouds sometimes have a little bit of a silver lining. Not always. We've seen a lot of dark clouds recently that had no silver lining. But in this case, like I say, I think there is a little bit of a silver lining. First, let's talk about the school itself a little bit. Let's focus a little bit on something negative here because I want to talk about the school itself first. Now, as most of you know, it's a STEM school, but it's also a charter school. And being a charter school means it takes public money. We pay for it, but it's run privately. The problem with a lot of these schools is all they care about is money. They want to get students in, get paid per the student, spend as little on each student as they possibly can, and bring in more students. That's what they're all about. They're run like a business, not like an education institution. And because of that, they tend to neglect the students. They tend to mistreat the students. Students are basically told, perform well, be profitable, or we'll toss you out and get somebody else that will. That creates a very high stress environment for young kids. And also, they don't spend money on things they don't have to spend money on, like counseling, security, etc. So charter schools have got a lot of problems when it comes to taking care of the kids. And this was pointed out multiple times about this school. As recently as December, parents were complaining that this was going to be the next Columbine. They used those exact words. Luckily, it didn't turn out to be that bad, but it had the potential for that to happen recently, we just saw. The school actually tried to sue the Jane Doe parent who anonymously made the big statement about how dangerous the school is. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish there, but now they look kind of silly now that that December prophecy has kind of come true. But parents were pointing out that students aren't being taken care of. In some cases, they're being abused, especially special ed students. Students are facing difficulties like sexual harassment, and management is just like, who cares? We're not going to deal with that. Wouldn't be profitable to do so. So the students were suffering, and some parents were speaking out. And not only were the parents speaking out, the Board of Education in the state was saying, listen, we know we can't manage you because you're a private business, but we highly recommend you change leadership because everything that's going on in that school is wrong. That's basically the gist of their report. And it kind of came back to haunt them here. Now, where's the silver lining, you might say, in that? Well, I wanted to focus on that part first to say, here is the silver lining. I'm seeing a lot of people that would normally just start yelling, bad guns, bad guns, bad guns, say, bad school, bad school, bad school. We're seeing a lot of people point out the fact that this environment was being cultivated inside this school, that environment that kind of led to what happened. The kid that did the killing, he actually is someone that the other students are saying he was a bully. He'd been reported multiple times. He had actually threatened to come to school and shoot up people he didn't like multiple times. Wasn't dealt with. Wasn't even given counseling or intervened in any way that we can see. The school never intervened in any way. So people are actually calling out the school instead of calling out the gun. The school is something that could have done something differently. Gun had no say in anything that happened. Played no active role other than being a tool. The school is the active participant here that created the society and the system and the environment where this type of thing was bound to happen eventually, according to the teachers and the parents. So they're actually placing blame where it goes, with the school. And I think that's positive. You're seeing more negative things about the school now than them centering on, oh, he had a gun. Well, and it was a handgun, so it wasn't an AR, so the media's not being able to go crazy. So they're hating that. But I'm glad to see some people actually pointing the fingers where they need to be pointed at this decrepit school system, this private charter school system, where the blame belongs, not at a gun. That's the small silver lining. I'm glad to see some people actually not falling into that mindset of it's the tool's fault. Instead saying it's the people that created this environment's fault and never gave people the care they need or had proper security or had proper counseling, etc. I'm glad to see that's happening. That's positive. Also, Even more than that, the biggest positive I saw, and something that actually maybe gave me a little hope for the Tide Pod eating generation, is that during the memorial for the student that was killed, when local politicians spoke and started politicizing the event, a big number of the students and parents walked out. They said to the media, "We are not going to be used as political pawns." Well, that's something new over one of the big shootings we've seen in the past, the Parkland shootings. That's an actual good attitude right there. We're not going to be your political pawns. We're not going to be the way you get into office so that you can abuse the rights of citizens. You're not going to use us as a stepping stone to your own personal goals. One of the politicians is actually running for president. They refused to be pawns. And as they were leaving, they were chanting mental health. Mental health. In other words, your old garbage bullshit pandering to people that are too ignorant to understand that a tool doesn't play a role in a bad deed, other than just being a tool. If you're too stupid to realize that, or you just want to score political points, we're not going to be a part of it. We want the real issues to be dealt with. We want mental health to be dealt with, because we do have a mental health issue in this country. It was so refreshing to see that these students and parents understood this and that they walked out on these politicians. Not only is it refreshing to see that they understood this, it's a big fuck you to people like David Hogg and that little buzz-headed lesbian he runs around with. And if you think, oh, that's that's racist or whatever, bigoted or homophobic, whatever, saying little bald-headed, buzz-headed lesbian. No, she is a little buzz-headed lesbian. That's descriptive. If you think it's somehow derogatory, that's your bias, not mine. But it's a big fuck you in their faces. It's a big fuck you to those people that are so self-serving, self-important, that they think that it's okay for them to turn the blood of their fellow students into cash and notoriety for themselves. That's all David Hogg is doing. He wants to be a big-time reporter. He wants to be famous. And he's more than willing to exploit his dead classmates to do so. He's more than willing to be a pawn politically, as long as they sign a contract with him that he gets the profits and he gets the fame. He's a disgusting person. It's not that he's a victim and everyone should treat him with kid gloves. No, he's not a victim. He's disgusting. And so's the other chick. And any of them that play that game. So it was refreshing to see these students actually have a head on their shoulders saying, we're not going to be a part of your game. We're not going to be pawns for you. We're not going to let you manipulate us. We're going to keep our eyes on the real problems. The culture at the school, mental health, etc. And if you try to play those same old games, we're going to walk away and we're going to call you out. So like I say, this is a tragedy, but there are some silver linings in this dark cloud. I'm glad to see some people finally smartening up and putting blame where it belongs and understanding what the real problem is and not playing the games that politicians want to play.
Oops.
Go ahead. It's a lady at 46 South Road. 46 South Road.
Greenfield. Station 1 call, retone that please. 10-4. Captain 4 will be going to that location also. 1-9, is that correct?